This video is sponsored by Baby Bliss Mom and Baby Shop.
My name is Nicholas Solomon. I'm a facilities management expert. I've been married for 4 years.
Almost 4 years.
And it's been beautiful. It's been quite a journey. But God has been very good to us, and we are here. And so, yeah.
Hi, my name is Helena Solomon, and I've been married to him. Yes, as he said, we've been married for almost 4 years, and then it's been wonderful. So yeah, we're here. Okay, so before we got married, I thought I was going to try for a while. Even before we got married, we had a conversation. What if we got married and we did not have kids? What would you do?
Yeah.
Because I heard Professor Adai have a show one day and spoke about it, that this is one thing that you should speak about before you got married. So I called him and then we had that conversation. So what if we get married and we don't have kids? And then he was, I don't know, maybe that's what every guy would say, but he was like, oh, I wouldn't mind. I would still support you. I would still love you. I was like, okay. So at least we had the conversation. So I was in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to condition my mind that.
Those things, I was not sure.
Of course you are not sure. So I decided that I was going to condition my mind that what if I don't have a baby for maybe the next 3, 4, 5 years, I'll still, you know. But then we got married, and we got married in October. So in December, I remember the day really well because it was the day that Akufo-Addo called John Mahama to say, yes, you know, my house, we are too different, you know. So there was a mixed feeling in my house. You know, I was excited and everything.
But who was not excited?
I'm not saying anything, but all I know is I woke up early in the morning, I checked, and I realized I was pregnant, and he was still asleep. So I went and I woke him up, and I'm like, Blake, I'm pregnant.
You were holding the thing?
Yes. and then he was still asleep, so like sleepy, so he was like, oh, really? So he didn't really express much when I said that.
I'm a gamer.
So I was on my way to work. I was already dressed for work. So on my way to work, he sent me the most beautiful text message talking about how he was going to be a perfect dad to our kids and how he's going to treat me well, how he was going to blah, 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 blah. Whether he did it or not, that's a story for another day. So yeah, so that's how we found out we were pregnant for our first. So for the second, it was more like we are now trying to settle into the first. And then I go to him one day and I say, babe, I'm pregnant. Then he goes, are you sure? I'm like, of course I'm sure. So yeah, so that's how come we found out we were pregnant for the second one.
Well, you know, for the first, I was really excited about it because then obviously I'm going to be a father, and it's one sign that a marriage is fruitful in, you know, our part of the world, you know. So I was happy about it. I was excited about it. It took me like 4 hours to write that text message that she spoke about. You know, I had to write, edit, hey, how's this gonna sound, you know, and you know. So I sent it, and I loved the response that came in. She was excited. Did you cry?
Please, I don't cry.
You know, but the second. Okay, so for the second, I had gone through, cause you know the way our family was set, we were very much involved. You know, I was very much involved with, you know, our first daughter's upbringing and all that, and sometimes it could weigh me down. It was a lot of work for me, you know. So just to add on, after a year,
after a few months,
I was like, I don't think I can take this. You know, and then I made up my mind that I want the two now and one on you know. So it was to accept, you know, the reality of the second one was quite a difficult thing for me. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's God that gives children, and He has, you know, the gross or the grand agenda for what He wants to do. And I believe that children are a ministry. They are a blessing from the Lord, and God gives them to us because He wants to do something with them, and it's our duty to take care of them and take very good care of them, for them to, live their or fulfill their purposes and destiny. So it was a good thing. So I looked at it more spiritually, but physically, many Jones.
For me, what I enjoyed most about being pregnant was being able to eat as much as possible. And
Easy in bed.
I know, right? And nobody will say, oh, why is your stomach that big? Or, it's like everybody expecting your stomach to already be big. So when you are dressing, you're not thinking, oh, let me hum. You understand? So yes, that was, and also going to a place and then maybe before everyone eats, they're like, oh, Maninko first. So I was getting I love food. I'm a foodie. So I was getting the best food everywhere I went to. So yes, for me. And then my husband not getting to complain whenever I was eating. You understand? It's more like, it's my right to eat. I am growing a whole human being inside me. So please allow me to eat all the food that I want to eat. So that was my favorite.
She should always make the excuse that she has to feed the baby. Now they are two. So when she's eating, she has to eat a double portion because of the baby in there.
Hey, I used to eat so.
But for me, one thing that I loved about it when she was pregnant was her energy. Because I'd heard a lot of stories about when women are pregnant, they are weak, they are that, But she was very energetic. We had a car, and at the time, I was using the car, even though she was pregnant. I would just go to the office and come back. She would, and she's a very humble person. She would join a public transport.
That's me.
Sometimes, I think maybe took trains.
Yes.
Sometimes, She would take a train to walk like 5 kilometers to where her shop is, and she was very energetic, and I love that thing about her because I thought that it was going to make her, very strong and would eventually have a very strong baby and very healthy, mom and daughter. So yes, for me, yeah, that was it.
Okay, for me, for the first month, the whole not feeling too good. And for the first one, I found out I was pregnant around Christmas. So I wasn't able to eat all the good foodie. I wasn't able to enjoy my Christmas because I love Christmas. I was always sick, always, yeah, so I hated that part. And also, I'm a spitter when I'm pregnant. So the whole spitting, I remember there was a time I went to church, and normally I would really try to hide it. But there was this lady that saw me, and then she's like, Erade medase, some Muslim queens, and then Muslim with me and say, we are saying about high heels. I was like, hey, this woman. Like, she was so excited that she saw that I was spitting. And I'm like, this woman, you understand? So I hated that part so much. I was like, God, because I couldn't go anywhere. Whenever you go somewhere, you can't even talk to people. And mine is like straight 9 months. Straight 9 months. And I could tell, but then he was so supportive when it came to that. Because even with me, I used to feel like if I was the one looking at me doing all this, I wouldn't be able to. But he would, so if it was me, I wouldn't want to kiss me. But then he would, I'm like, what's wrong with you? So first of all, I did not deliver in Ghana. I had my baby in Canada. And I remember when my auntie there used to make a lot of fufu for me. I don't know why, maybe...
Because you like it.
I do, but I'm thinking, but yeah, why do everybody to know that I like fufu? So...
She eats fufu every Sunday.
But Sunday is okay. Before I used to eat fufu like every day. Yes, in Kumasi, you come back from school, you can't eat fufu. It was like rice. Anyways, so I was eating fufu, and I think my daughter had had enough. She's like, look, I'm coming out now. So yes, when I went into labor, I didn't know I was in labor. Because, like in the movies and everything, they make you feel like when you go into labor, it's like, the baby's coming, the baby's coming. And then, no. So, and because of that, I was there, let's say I'll be walking and I'll stop because I would feel this pain. And then it comes, then it goes. So I was thinking that, okay, maybe it was the Brixton heck that they keep talking about. So I kept on doing that, and I think my auntie didn't want to tell me, so she calls my mom. And my mom calls me and goes like, hey, I work on what? For back in the hospital. I'm like, ah. Yeah, so I went to the hospital, and then they checked how far off I was, how dilated I was. Please, that is one thing that I feel they should warn every woman. Oh my God. Oh my God. No, you see, like you keep hearing that. Okay, and then they checked and they realized I was 2 centimeters and they checked. And do you know how they check? The woman put her whole hand in there and did something. When she finished, I was like, what did you just do? What did you do? It was so painful. I was like, and then she goes like, oh, you're only 2 centimeters. So go and walk and come back and let's check again. I'm like, you're going to do it again. So, okay, so I went, I walked. I came, she did that whole thing again. She's like, I'm still 2 centimeters, I think 3 centimeters. So I should go home. And there was this nurse who went like, oh, is this your first? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh, maybe you might be feeling this for days. I'm like, I'm going to be feeling what I'm feeling now for days before the baby comes out. And I remember that when I was pregnant, I used to read a book, Supernatural Childbirth. A group of friends and I, we were all pregnant at the same time, so we used to read that book. So I was expecting pain-free delivery because my faith was like, you know. So when the pain started coming, I was like, okay, so that didn't work. Not that it didn't work, but you get me. So when I went home, I said a prayer. I was like, God, if I am not going to have a pain-free labor, at least make it short. That at least I can believe you for. Just make it short. So I went home around like 6, and by 8 I was back in the hospital because then the pain goes. I thought I was going, because I'd done my baby's crib by my bed, I thought I was going to break it. The pain was so intense that when I held it, I was just like shaking it. So my auntie was just sleeping. I was like, auntie, let's go. So she just woke up and we drove back to the hospital. We went and then they checked again. And one thing is, every time they check, the pain gets worse. I don't know how that happens. But every time they check, the pain just like goes to another level. So they checked and they're like, okay, now they're going to admit me. So they admitted me. And then I am not a screamer when it comes to labor pains. You know, I could hear a lot of people screaming, but I would just maybe stand and breathe. So in the whole story, okay, so he wasn't around. So he was on the phone like the whole time. So whenever he sees that I'm quiet, he was like, why, baby's back? I'm like, I wouldn't talk. You understand? So yeah, so it was like that. And another point too is I went into labor on his birthday. So it was his whole prayer was give birth today. Give birth today. I'm like
I remember it was a Sunday.
Yes.
My birthday was on a Sunday, so 13th I guess. And then you had sent me a cake.
Yeah.
You know, through our friends. So I mean we had a whole celebration in church and all that. And I went home, I was just praying, Lord, let it be today. Let it be today. Today or never. You know those prayers. Today or never. So I was praying a prayer, you know. But it happened, well, so she went into labor on the 13th, but delivered on the 14th. But it was just like 2 hours.
Yeah,
you know,
2 hours.
It was in Ghana, it would have been the same day, I think.
No.
I mean, your calculation, you know.
It wouldn't have.
It would have been what?
I don't remember, but all I know is that God does not want my daughter to be born on the same. My daughter doesn't like sharing. You should see her. She's a drama queen on her own. Like,
you know, so we were very excited because we were living with some of our friends in an apartment. Mm-hmm. And so when I told them about the story, they were all excited. They came to pour powder on me, you know, that thing. You know, that kind of thing. So it was fun, but I could tell that she was going through a lot of pain because even I think the day after we fought, mm-hmm. because I thought that you were what's the thing? because of this whole book that we're reading, Supernatural Birth, I thought that thing had happened and you were exaggerating.
No, that's not why we fought.
Why did you fight?
We fought because my daughter came out and she had jaundice.
Okay.
And I was crying my eyes out. Like, oh my God. And everybody kept on, like, everybody was like, oh, it's normal. I'm like, my daughter has jaundice and you are sitting there and you are telling me it's normal? It's not normal. I'm like, the child of the Most High. Hey, I was very spiritual. But then he was like, calm down. So we fought. I was like, look, if you cannot support me, don't call me. Hey, please, I took it very personal.
So it was quite a difficult moment because I think she had gone through a lot and it was reflected in the way she was dealing with me and other people around her, And I remember, I think I've never told you this before, but Evelyn was also there. She kept on texting me that, look, just be patient, things are going to be well, there's a difficult moment and all that. So yes, even though she was out there, I was also here, and men and our issues, always emotional, and why are you not that, why are you not that, So it kept on going on, but I mean, at the end of the day, I was happy. I had my daughter close to my birthday. She's an amazing girl, and yes.
I was naive when it came to a lot of things because I kept on trying to spiritualize the whole childbirth experience. You understand? I was trying not to think so much because I was so scared of pain. I was trying not to dwell on the fact that I was going to experience that kind of pain when it was time for me to give birth. So I'm sorry, but I feel that my hospital in Ghana really failed me in terms of they didn't have any class for expecting mothers. And according to my mother, I was like one of the best hospitals, but they didn't have any class for expecting mothers. So when I went and then I started pushing, it was like, okay, so this is what happened. I go like, I want to pee. Then the nurse goes, okay, wait and let's prepare. So by the time that she's preparing whatever, I just pee on the bed. And so then they're like, okay, get down and let's just change everything. Whilst I'm down, I'm like, I want to poo. She's like, don't poo. I'm like, I'm pooing. She's like, don't poo. I am. So I just like, and then I realized that, okay, is the baby coming? So she's like, when it's coming back, don't do that till we get you on the bed. So I tried, I got on the bed, and they were like, when you feel the edge, then push. But then whilst I was pushing, I was just screaming. They're like, no, you're pushing wrong. Watch, because the baby was like coming, but the way I was pushing was like totally wrong. And I didn't take epidural for my first. But when it was time for me to get stitched, I don't know how people do it, but what they do is they inject a part so that part gets numb, then they sew it. The injection itself is painful. And then I don't know why they say the place is getting numb. Because the sewing itself, I could feel it. So I told them, and the thing is, they play around that place like it's somebody's hall. The doctor just put his hand in there and do this, and bring it back out, put tissue. I was like, God.
My earthly heaven.
Playing Jaskele. I was like, really? So I told them that, no, please, I beg, at least for the stitching, they should give me epidural. I would take, it doesn't matter, they should give it to me. So they gave me epidural, then they stitched me up. Because my auntie was like, for them to do a good job, I had to be still. And I couldn't be still with what they were doing. So they gave it to me, then I was still, then they did everything fine. Yeah, fine. Back to original state. So, but with my second, please, I took epidural for the labor and delivery. You see, I had a particular perception when it came to women that are taking epidural. And I came to realize it wasn't my fault. It was what our society had marked epidural to be. It was more like, okay, first of all, they made it look like if you take epidural, you come out limping with one leg, So I was really scared about taking epidural. So what I did was, with my second, I wanted to be informed about everything. I watched a lot of labor videos. made a lot of phone calls. I used to call a lot of people. Oh, did you take epidural? They're like, oh yeah, I took epidural. I'm like, okay, so how did you feel? How are you having any pain in your back? All of them were like, no, they're not having any pain. So I called him and I was like, look, I'm still believing God to do the best for me, but I think I want to take epidural. And then he agreed. So when the time came, we took the epidural, and then let me tell you, whoever invented epidural should be the most rich person in the whole world. Hey, what epidural can do? And okay, and one of the main things that made us decide to take epidural was how I felt when I met my daughter. When I met my daughter for the first time, I felt no love for my daughter. I just looked at her and I'm like, okay, I was going through so much pain. I was so traumatized. Like, I couldn't hold my baby for like days. Like, I couldn't take care of her. I couldn't do anything. I was so traumatized. Like, the pain, I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit. So I was like, okay, so for the second one, why don't I just save all my energy? Why don't I just enjoy the process? And just so that when my son comes, I'll be able to, and to be honest, because I enjoyed the process, because I was calm, when he came and I saw him, I was like, this is the baby I've been waiting for. You know, I was like excited to see him. But I'm saying it's a personal choice, it's a personal decision. And then, you know when they say that you forget the pain after, please, I didn't forget though. I did not forget. You know, if I had forgotten, maybe I would have been able to maybe forget about that experience and taking care of my baby. That doesn't mean I don't love her now. Now I'm like, but he was also a big help because I used to cry. I was depressed. I used to cry all the time. And then he would just talk to me, baby, you'll be okay. You'll be this, you'll be that. I know, I understand what you're going through. So then anytime I'll talk to him, I'll be calm, you know. So, yeah. A lot of people that give birth outside, you see, there's nothing like, yes, maybe your mom will come later, maybe your husband will join you later, but there's nothing like having your husband or your mother where you are. Do you understand? It's like, when I was now, you see, a lot of people who live outside, our aunties, we love them, we appreciate them for all that they do for us. But they all feel like because they didn't get the help when they gave birth, because they were there alone with their husbands, you should also be able to do it by yourself. Yes, they will help you maybe bath the baby like in the morning, then they are off to work and you are just there. Because they can't, to be honest, you don't expect them to stop their work to sit there with you and just take care of the baby. So it's like you are there and everything, 2 minutes, I'm calling, mommy, baby, no. My mom's like, do you want me to come? Because I felt like we're making, my whole family had chipped in so much, all of us. So I felt like them buying a plane ticket, because I felt it was an investment we were making. So for them to buy a plane, to come there, I wasn't going to spend a long time there. I was going to come, I had my aunties. Because before I had the baby, everybody was like, oh, I'll help, oh, I'll be there, oh.
The story is different.
And I up till today, I don't blame anybody. But then it wasn't easy. So because of that, I became stronger. Because I remember there was a day that he told me that before I had the baby, he was wondering if I would be a good mom. He used to have that, like, she'd be a good mom. But he was like, you have blown my mind. Because I became, right now, if anybody gives birth, I can take care of the baby from birth. Like bath the baby, take care of it. I can do all that. Because God allowed me to go through that so I could become a stronger person. One thing too that it helped me with is, now, when I hear that any of my friends have given birth, I just want to be there for the person. I just want to go and say that, look, just give me the baby and go and sleep. Just sleep. Sleep for hours. You understand? Because everybody needs that. I didn't have that. Imagine you just have a baby and that night you're in the hospital alone with a baby and an incubator because they say she has jaundice and you were alone, baby's crying, and then you had stitches and, you understand? I was going out of my mind. I was alone. And then my mom, but yeah. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. It's been worth it. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
We got that.
No, I think we had one.
One. Please, me, I had plenty.
Okay, that was, no, I mean, when he came back to Ghana, there was one night we were asleep.
Please, this story. No, she had a cold, right? But then the way she was breathing and the way she was like, behaving.
Yeah.
Come and see my husband. Jackie Chan had nothing on my husband. The way he got out of bed, switched on the light, I went, hey, come and see that. So we woke up in the morning, and then we told my mom what had happened during the night. So we are going to the hospital. Like, we are going to the hospital because Lami is sick and Lami is... My mom was like, calm down. It should be fine. Hey, no, we are not having it. Our daughter is sick. I said, calm down. No, we went to the hospital, packed everything, went to the hospital. We got there. Then my husband, Brofum Master, narrated. The doctor was like, listen, that is like, is she your first? We're like, yeah, like, don't worry.
That old man, he was laughing at us.
Like, don't worry, it's normal.
And God is amazing. It's amazing how kids fall, and nothing happens to them. I mean, the rate at which they are affected by their fall is not as like an adult who has fallen from. And it's amazing because you realize that even in our sleep, he watches over us. So, I mean, it's been good. She always runs away from me.
I don't take the pain as well as the baby does. Although the baby is the one taking the injection. I never hold the baby. He always does.
Look, even now, our son is not too well. And when we are dispensing the medicine, is something else. Because he will cry and cry. And she wants us to stop. How can we stop?
Please, the baby is crying.
So I'll jack-chan him and give the medication. So yeah, it's been like that. I mean, throughout immunization and all that, anytime we go to the hospital, I need to, because I know that it's good for them. And that's one thing parents must take note of. It's not about how the kids are feeling, because they are babies. You should, at that point in their life, you should be able to take the decisions for them and make sure that whether they are feeling the pain or whatever, you are there for them. And that is love. That's another level of love. Even though it's painful temporarily, I mean, for the longer good, it makes a lot of sense for them to go through that pain.
By now, you should know that my kids take the pain they're going through better than I do. So, okay, so what happens is they took the baby to another room. So I wasn't with the baby when we were cutting the foreskin, but I could hear him screaming. And then I was just crying, and then you were like, take your time. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm like, no, he's screaming. And so when they bring him back, I'm supposed to maybe dress. And it's like, I don't even want to. I'm like, oh God, no. You see, it was like, and then I remember then I told my auntie was there. I told my auntie, I'm never having a boy again. My auntie's like, please, boys just go through this pain once. Every time a girl gives birth, they go through this pain. So please chill. I'm like, no, this is too painful. So with my first, I remember I gave her a pacifier as soon as I had her. But when my boy, I was like, I'm not gonna give him a pacifier. I want to go through this whole mothering process without a pacifier. That night, I don't know how I got to the pharmacy and bought pacifier for my son because I just didn't want him to cry. So I gave him the pacifier, and then, boys, what's up? It's not easy. We had two different stories for both babies. They were not the same in any way. Our daughter rejected solids for a very long time. Our daughter was very difficult to feed. This was how difficult my daughter was to feed. When you are giving my daughter food, you have to dip, no matter what the blended concoction you've made, you have to dip the edge of the spoon in yogurt. So that when you put it, it's like, okay, it's yogurt. Then you put then put inside her mouth. You understand? My daughter was so difficult. And then the thing was, she was a big baby. So whenever you told someone that, she doesn't eat, you're like, really? But then my daughter, she came out of like a big baby. So my daughter but my son will eat anything, any day. It was like so easy. And the thing was, when my daughter wasn't eating, it was so depressing. I used to complain to him all the time.
And like, Nipa, yeah. Sometimes you don't want to eat. And then, just won't get it.
And then he used to go like, Obia, waiting 14 years, I still no milk that. And then yeah, obedidi, Jano, why you ready obedidi? But then I wasn't having it. I'm like, and then do you know, the reason it was so difficult for me to accept that my daughter wasn't accepting solids was because before the time came, I bought my blender. I did my online research. When you come and I'm cooking my daughter's food, I'll put small cheese, I'll put small this, please, you can't me. Look, bottled food has nothing on me. And I will do all this and she will not eat. You will not eat. You want me to throw the food away, you're lying.
And
you eat it.
We didn't rely much on bottled foods.
Yeah.
So we sometimes look at the bottle, look at the ingredients and try to make them organically, you know. And she was very taste intelligent. So if she doesn't know the tastes, trust me, she won't take it.
Apart from him, do people still sleep?
Me.
Please,
when she got back, she just dumped the baby on me. Hey!
Why are you lying?
She dumped the baby on me like, I'm done. She washed her hands and went away. You know, so didn't I wake up at
really?
dawn? For the first 3 days, at least.
You know, we all remember things differently in life, you see. So yes, sleep is not something, and you know, before, I used to go like, oh, I'm scared I'll sleep on my baby. I'm scared that when my baby cries, I won't hear. But when you give birth, sleep just naturally just goes away. Up till now, when my son turns, I just wake up. When he does, I'll just wake up. So it's like throughout the night, I can wake up like, it's not like he's awake. Now, luckily, he sleeps throughout the night. But still, when he does something, I wake up. It's like you are asleep, but you are awake. I don't know. What dance we need to, you understand? So yes, so that's sleep for me. And with him, sometimes, even now, like last week, it rained and my son woke up. And I was trying to put him to bed. He wasn't going to bed. So I put him on my back. And then I had to go around like 2 a.m. I had to go up, down before he slept. The next morning.
But was he in spirit?
The next morning, he even asked me, oh, why? Did it rain? It's not like he didn't even notice that it was raining. For him to see that I had woken up because somebody was awake in the same room that the three of us were sleeping in.
I was tired.
I don't.
Well, you know, the thing about this whole parenting, there are varied models, okay, and children are different. Everybody on this earth is different, you know. And like I said early on, life is spiritual. We only live it in the physical. We try to rely mostly on God, you know, for God to help us to, because yes, someone might be doing something, you think it is working. You try it wouldn't work for you, you know. So you must pray to God for Him to give you the understanding and the wisdom to deal with your own parenting model. But yes, we read here and there, we compare notes with people that are doing well, and we try to implement some of the things that they do. And we see results, you know, we see results. For instance, this, how do you call it, online schooling now that is going on. It's so difficult to do it, you know, but we try other means. For instance, the iPad, we try to limit the YouTube or what she's watching on YouTube. So that even though maybe she's not getting the physical contact with her school on this Zoom platform and all that, she's learning something right that is incongruent with what they are doing in school. So she's learning her alphabet, she's learning to shade, color and all these kind of things elsewhere. So I think it's not a straight jacket model, or it's not something that is on the counter that you can just go and get it and apply it. You need to look at what works best. Study your kids very well. Look at how they behave, their mannerisms, you know, their personality, and see how best you can also develop what they're doing and help them to be better adults. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a ministry. And the Bible says that it's required of stewards to be found faithful. So if you know that your children are your responsibility, you make sure that you are helping them in a way that they will grow to become responsible adults, good Christians. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, you help them to be who they are supposed to be.
When it comes to the two of us, we have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. I I panic a lot. Oh God.
Oh.
God help me. I panic. Oh, there was a time that
Deliver my wife. Any sort of paranoia. In Jesus.
So there was a day that my daughter got locked in a room. Like she locked herself in the room. Yeah. And I remember it was early in the morning, so he was still asleep. So it was just myself and my nanny. Oh my God. I almost went crazy. I was like, Lami, what did you just do? What did you do? Lami, are you still standing behind? Oh God. I just went to the room. Nick, Lami has locked. Oh God. Lami has locked herself. Oh, Nick just woke up. Lami has locked herself. I'm like, yes. So he just came. Lami, are you standing? He was so calm. Told her what to do. Like, you know what she did? Just try and turn the key to the other way. So that she was just fidgeting, then she opened the door. Then my nanny and I were like, it was just the two of us in this house. You have slept in the room. Because and sometimes too, there's a positive side to that. For instance, when there's something actually happening to the kids, like maybe they are sick, maybe he'll be so calm and he'll be thinking, oh, let's just see, it will go. But I can feel that, no, we need to do this, or we need to do something, and then we need to do something extra. Do you understand? So it helps. Yeah. So yes, we don't know what we are doing most of the time, but then we let our strengths and our weaknesses play a role, because I am well able to comfort my kids better. You understand? Because I feel their pain. You know, he's a disciplinarian. Oh my God. He will just shout and hey. But the annoying part is, although I am the comforter, they always want to go to him. Like how? Like how? So yes, that's parenting for us.
Do you have any surprises?
A surprise?
So it all comes to the way we have, fashioned our mind towards parenting. We are open-minded and are like, look, we don't know how to do this. Mm-hmm. Even though we've had first and second, we are still learning. And so we see every new thing as a learning curve. So anything that comes up, if we can deal with it, we deal with it. If we can't, we
pray about it.
Yes, we pray about it, we look around. And because, for instance, for now, we've realized that my son has like anger issues, but it's nothing that we are fretting over. We take it to God in prayer, because you can't change any man. So we take it to God in prayer and ask God to help us. I think it's also because sometimes I get a bit angry. She says so.
But you can't feel it or experience it for yourself.
No, I can't. I just feel that I'm expressing my opinion. So it's something we pray about. And so I don't think we haven't really had anything that is so out of...
The thing is, I feel that the whole parenting thing is a surprise on its own. Like, it's a human being you are dealing with. You get surprised and, I feel that nobody can be prepared for it. No matter the number of books you read, the number of people you talk to, you can never be prepared.
Today I'll buy you, what do you want? I like that state, you can never be prepared. Oh God. You are becoming a philosopher.
I'm a scholar.
I'm impacting. To see them grow. To see them grow, and the fact that they can talk and have a conversation with them is amazing. I've always been thinking of, how when we watch movies, daddies read stories to their kids and they are in bed and whatever. And so I tried it, and the response. Recently, I think 2 days ago, I was telling her a story when she was going to sleep in fact, I didn't even have a story in mind. I only told her that I was going to tell her a story, and I was scripting the story while I was narrating the story to her, and she was calm. She was listening to me in the dark, and we're lying on the bed, and I was just saying the story, and then she was listening, and when we finished, she said, "Is it done?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh." So when the light, she calls morning when the light comes. So when the light comes, will I tell her another story? I'm like, yes. So the following day, and it's interesting how they always remember things. So the following day in the evening when she's going to sleep, she was asking me, Daddy, come and tell me a story while I sleep. And I felt that, oh my God, but this thing I've been waiting for. That my daughter will say that, come and tell me a story to go to bed. I said, Madam, running. There's a reminding, so I mean, it's very rewarding, and I like that. And now I look at her and I'm like, she's old, she's grown, like she's a full woman.
Hey.
So, yeah, even at the fact that she's like 3 years old, like I can have a conversation with my daughter, and ask her to go do things, give her little responsibilities, and she does them. And I think that's one of the most rewarding things any parents could be proud of.
For me, the most rewarding having kids is just being mommy. You know how sometimes, like, you just, after work, you just come home and their whole world just lights up because mommy's here.
It's me.
Oh, please. But I come home before you, so they light up for me, then after you come, they will light up for you. It's like, and my son, especially my son is all about, like mommy, like, oh, this is mommy, like, I'm like, oh, somebody needs me, someone loves me, like, unconditional. It's so fulfilling. It's like I'm everything to them.
This video was brought to you by Baby Bliss Mom and Baby Shop.